What's up, folks? My name is Brandon. That's Chris. We're Pizzas and Park Ops. What's going on, Chris? What have you been up to this week, man?
Not much. St. Patty's Day was Tuesday. Happened to be my birthday, and we all know.
Look at this guy trying to mention his birthday. Trying to get some sympathy out of the crowd.
I didn't get anything. Actually, I shouldn't say that. One of my coworkers. So one of my favorite snack foods is Smart Food, the cheese popcorn. And my coworkers got me a bag of popcorn.
Well, that's sweet of them. That's sweet of them. Anyway, tonight we're going to do kind of a mix mash of information, Disney info, a little bit of March Madness, a little bit of this and that. So here we go with Pizzas and Park Ops in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome, folks, to Pizzas and Park Ops tonight. Tonight's our mismatch. End of the month. March Madness has been going on all weekend long. All the teams are being eliminated. There's lots of upsets, all that stuff. And Chris, my second favorite team is still in the tournament.
Who's that?
That's Texas. The Texas Longhorns have become a Cinderella story in this tournament.
What are they, 9? Are they ranked 9th in their...
Dude, they had to play the play-in game. They had to play a first 4 game to get in the tournament, and now they're going to the Sweet 16. So I'm kind of excited about that. I've been a Texas fan all of my life, Texas and IU. Just consistently Texas and IU in men's basketball. And so, since IU didn't make it to the tournament, here we are. We got Texas in there doing their thing. But to be honest with you, I think Florida could go all the way. And so far in this podcast, this is being recorded during the second round of the tournament. Florida's winning with 2 minutes left.
Yep.
So we'll see how it shakes out, because by the time this podcast is over, we're going to know if Florida continues or not.
See, I either got Duke or Arizona winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people say
Duke
is
Arizona,
overrated.
huh?
A lot of people say Duke is overrated, but they always have a little knack for coming through in the tournament, so we'll see.
Yeah.
See what happens. So what did you do? What did you do on St. Patrick's Day? Anything good?
Oh, yeah. So on St. Patrick's Day, we kind of celebrate here at home with, and so we had shepherd's pie. We had some Irish chips, they're Guinness chips. And we had some St. Patrick's Day cookies and stuff. We always do it upright, for St. Patrick's Day. Mm-hmm. I know guys like you go out and eat Chinese food on St. Patrick's Day. I don't know why.
I did not eat Chinese food. Well, St. Patrick's Day for me, like I said, I'm Italian, obviously. If you've been listening to the show, everybody knows that by now. I don't really like the Irish food at all. So
St. Patrick's You're Italian?
Yeah, I am. I don't know.
Oh, dang, man. I didn't know that.
Out?
Yeah.
So St. Patrick's Day for me isn't about the Irish thing. It's my birthday. Which is funny. Full-blooded Italian born on St. Patrick's Day. So,
St. Patrick was Italian.
So usually my birthday is, St. Patrick's Day, and it's my dinner. It's my dinner that I'll pick where I was going to go. So the original plan was I was going to go for Chinese food, but we ended up scrapping that, and I ended up going to one of my favorite Italian restaurants on that night.
Okay. So what was your birthday meal?
My birthday meal?
Yeah.
Well, St. Patrick's was Italian, so
I said that.
Keeping with tradition. But I got a the name of the dish is called the pork Italiano at this place that I go to.
Okay.
And it's 2 roasted 1-inch thick bone-in pork chops, right? And it's cooked with vinegar peppers, vinegar onions, and roasted potatoes, and cooked in like a tomato sauce, not like a red sauce that you would put on pasta, but it's like a meat-based tomato, almost like a thin, think of like a thin beef stew kind of sauce over homemade fusilli, which is like a twisted spaghetti. And it's phenomenal. I go to this place, probably a few times a year, probably 4, 5, 6 times a year. And that's my dish. That's my go-to dish over there. So
doesn't sound like a skinny meal.
No, it is definitely not a skinny meal. So you throw in the homemade bread that they give you and a couple glasses of wine, and they were rolling me out of there in a wheelbarrow.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it was a good dinner. It was a good day. I left work a little bit early and went out, had a nice quiet dinner, me and the wife, and went home, went to bed, got ready for the next day.
That's cool.
Kind of sucks being, in the middle of the week, you know what I mean?
Right.
On Tuesday. So
yeah.
What are you going to do?
No, last night we went to a hockey game. And our local hockey team, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're in the SPHL, which is like a minor league, of the NHL.
Yep.
And they played Quad Cities, which is like Quad Cities up by Chicago. Anyway, they played Quad Cities, and they won with like 28 seconds left. They hit the second the second goal to win the game. So, the crowd went wild, all that stuff, but the girls hadn't been to a hockey game in like a long, long time. So we thought that was pretty fun. We won the tickets like last week. And so,
nice.
And then it was Paul's night. So they had dogs there, like dogs at the game, like people brought their dogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was hilarious. But anyway, they won the President's Cup last year. So, maybe they'll make another run. Who knows? But it's the Evansville Thunderbolts, and they're pretty good. So maybe by the time you come down here, they'll be in the midst of the President's Cup.
Nice.
And we can go and see them or something. I don't know. But anyway, they're decent. A lot of their guys get drafted during the year to the NHL and stuff like that. So, it's cool.
It's an AHL team?
No, it's the SPHL. I don't know. It's like the third tier or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But some of those guys get drafted right up to the NHL. So good for them. We have a mixture of Americans and Canadians,
Yeah, we got the Providence Bruins, which is in the AHL here. That's the Bruins team down in Providence, Rhode Island. And we'll go catch a game down there once in a while. I used to know I still know him, but when he was the head coach of the of the Providence Bruins, he's kind of jumped around. He's actually an assistant coach now in the Bruins and the big town.
The real Bruins.
Yeah. So he used to hook me up with tickets. I'd throw him a text, and he would just, he'd have 4 tickets waiting for me at the will call, which was nice. But it's kind of hard to get NHL tickets compared to the AHL.
Are you a big Bruins fan?
Yeah, I was a bigger when I was younger. I used to go to a lot of games. So anybody who's in the Boston area would know, like the old Boston Garden they had these obstructed view seats. There were literally a seat behind a pole. So when we were kids, when I was in high school, the tickets were $10. All the obstructed view seats were $10. So we would save up our money. And when the tickets went on sale, we'd take the train or the bus and we'd go in to the Boston Garden, wait in line, and we'd buy, obstructed view seats for like 4 or 5 games. We'd go to all the Montreal games, because the Bruins and the Canadians were one of the biggest rivalries. And, we'd buy the obstructed view, but we wouldn't sit there because you literally couldn't see a third or half of the the rink. So
Oh,
we would just kind of bounce around, look for an empty seat, and then when the people came and said, "Oh, those are our seats," we just get up and leave. And this one like 13, 14, 15 years old. So, but I don't get to go to many games. I kind of lost my connections, and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Even like the seats like way up top. They're like $80, $90.
So yeah, we do that at the Cardinals games sometimes. At the St. Louis Cardinals games, we'll go over and we'll get like kind of like higher seats, right? And then about the third or fourth inning, you'll see that nobody's going to go sit down in this whatever section, and so we'll go down, sit down there. They don't care as long as they're filling the seat, right?
How far away is St. Louis from you?
Well, it's about 3 hours.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And so, it's easy to go over there and see a game. Me and Livy will probably go and see a game. We won 2 tickets in this raffle. We won a couple tickets to there, for the Cardinals. So we'll see what happens, man.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're pretty stoked about that. But I remember one time I went to a Cardinals game and there was a rain delay and a bunch of people left and it was a double header. Okay.
Oh, really?
But they had a rain delay. Okay. So me and my buddy Greg, we went and we were like, man, look at those seats like way down there in the green seats. And we were like, the green seats are like the corporate, they bring you the food and they don't charge you, that kind of thing.
All included.
All inclusive, right? So we're like, man, nobody's coming back down here during this rain delay. So the rain ended, the game restarted. We went down there and sat, and then we were like eating chicken strips and drinking free beer and everything. It was pretty awesome. The whole rest of the whole 2 games, because it was only like halfway through the first game that this was going on. So
yeah,
it ended up being pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's nice when you can see how the other half lives.
Yeah.
People who go to those games all the time. It's like one time I went to a Patriots game up in Buffalo, and we sat in the luxury box in Buffalo. It was crazy. Like just the fridge was stocked with beer and soda and water, and they had roast beef and chicken wings and like just all out. And think of people who do that. There are people who do that like every game. I'm like,
I know, it's crazy, man.
It's nuts. So, well, whatever.
Yeah. So
the life I will probably never see.
Yeah. Now they do have like these these tickets that you can go and they're like an all inclusive, but they have like a buffet, Yep. They call it like the home run club or whatever. And the tickets aren't terrible. They're like $80 a ticket or something, $100 a ticket.
Yeah.
And you can go and have like a buffet meal before the game. Yep. And during the game and stuff. And then the seats are like right outside the suite kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're like box seats. And so that's pretty cool, but anyway, so with that said, what's going on with Disney, man? Josh Tomorrow he's taken over Disney now. Yeah. He's now the CEO.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, it seemed like a little, I would call it a no thrills handoff during the meeting. I don't know if you listened to the meeting or not.
I didn't listen to it. I heard, bits and pieces of it, and I heard, people talking about it in general.
Right.
I heard it was pretty uneventful.
Yeah, and they announced a ship, the name of a ship, the Believe or something like that. So anyway, that's cool. Whatever.
Yeah. All in all, it was a light, news week for Disney. I mean, a couple of dates were announced, and that was about it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, there wasn't much to it. But anyway, I did catch a interesting bit where people it was kind of like a TikTok trend or whatever, but also it's kind of carried over to more social media, and that is if Disney had a Mount Rushmore, who would be on the Disney Mount Rushmore? Name 4 people that would be on the Disney Mount Rushmore. Okay.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you. Who would you put on Disney's Mount Rushmore?
Well,
I know that's a hard question.
Well, you got to have Walt.
Yeah, right? Of course.
So if you're going,
he's like having George Washington, right?
Right. So I mean, if we're going back that far, I guess we're gonna have probably Walt and Roy, right?
Yeah, Roy, because he brought Disney World.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he took over. Once Walt passed away, I mean, Roy pretty much made it happen because Walt passed away in '66, so 5 years before, Florida was opened. So Roy took over from there.
Right.
So you got to have Roy up there. So I would say those 2. Probably Eisner.
Yeah.
That would be mine.
You're saying Eisner? Okay.
I think so. I think Eisner. Because I mean, Eisner kind of brought it into the new, to the new area. He brought, Hollywood studios to life. And so if I were to pick, I would probably go Walt, Roy, Eisner, and I don't know. Maybe you going Imagineers too? Are you going like just CEOs? Are you going?
I don't know, man. It's your Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. I don't know. Probably. So put an Imagineer in there. I'll probably go Joe Rohde.
Okay.
So those are my 4. Those would be my 4. How about you? How about you?
For me, I think my Mount Rushmore would be Walt.
Yeah.
I would think that it would be Michael Eisner. So Walt, Michael Eisner. I think probably I would say Joe Rohde.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say Gurr as well.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and even though he's still alive, both, 2 of those guys are, 3 of those dudes are still alive. But I would put them on there. And the reason why is, Bob Gurr, he came up with so many of the Disney attractions. And same thing with Joe Rohde.
Rohde built the park.
What's that?
Rohde built the whole park.
Right.
He was instrumental in getting Animal Kingdom done and completed and built and drawn up and all that.
And then and then of course Joe Rohde, because of he's had his hands all over the parks, right? Mm-hmm. But then I wouldn't put Roy on there, and the reason why, and I'll tell you this. The reason why I wouldn't put Roy on there is not because he wasn't a founding father, okay? Not because he didn't deserve to be on there. But I see him as, he and Walt as one and the same. In the fact that they both created Disney together. Mm-hmm. It was, Walt's name was on it, and it's only because Roy didn't want his name on there.
Right.
And so... really, Walt gets all the clout, but Roy was just as important. Okay, and so I see them 2 as one and the same. When I say Walt Disney, I think the company. You know what I mean? Right. And I think not only the man, but the company and his brother. I think that is one unit because it's the Disney family. You know what I mean? And so that's why I wouldn't put Roy up there. But I would definitely put, Eisner, because he was very influential in the 80s and 90s. That guy, he brought Disney to the golden era, so.
No, I agree. Because obviously Disney had they were around a long time before the parks came up.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, they were both together and everything they did, and Roy just didn't want the notoriety that Walt did.
Right.
So, I can buy that. I agree.
Yeah, and so basically, Roy built Disney World to honor his brother. That's really a memorial to his brother. And I think that's, of course that's a class act, right? But, we wouldn't be enjoying the parks that we did today without Roy,
Right.
Or Walt, so, or Michael Eisner. I mean, or Bob Gurr with, I mean, any of these guys that I just named off, I would not put Bob Iger up there. There's a good reason for that.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, yes, he's he's made Disney a monopoly in a sense, and he's moved the ball forward quite a bit. But at the same time,
Right.
He's had his woes, and I'm not saying any of the guys that I named didn't have their problems,
because a lot of them had ideas that worked, and a lot of them had ideas that didn't work. But Bob Iger was responsible for a lot of the stuff that is looked on negatively these days.
Yeah.
Him and Chapek. Chapek,
Right.
forget about it. He brought it to another level. But
Yeah.
this was all stuff that Iger had coming out and had in the works.
Yep.
That came out. That came out eventually, even after he left. The first time. So.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I wouldn't put Iger up there at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's brought it to. I don't know. I mean, this is a subject for you can go on and on about this stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. So if you say you had a museum, and you were going to display Disney's finest moment, they're my dogs are barking, man. And you would define Disney's, crowning achievement, their finest moment. Do you have a answer for that?
Disney's finest moment.
Yeah, for you, what is Disney's finest moment? Let's go with that.
That's a tough one, man. Because I mean, there's so many. I mean, you're looking at you're looking at the movies, you're looking at the parks, you're looking at the company as in general. You're looking at what my favorite thing is.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, my biggest moment, my thing with Disney is my first memory of Disney.
Okay.
The first time I went in February of 1984, I was 12. And ever since that day, I fell in love with it. I remember when my father, he came home and he told us he was planning the trip and everything like that. We were going to drive, and we stayed at a place that's actually still there. It's called Vistana Resort. We said it was off property. But yeah, I mean that for me personally, that's my big Disney moment, that changed me, that turned me into a Disney fan,
But what do you think Disney's crowning achievement is?
So Disney's crowning achievement, I think, was opening when Walt bought all the property in Orlando.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he made all those fake LLCs.
Yeah.
That another hidden thing for people that don't know. Down Main Street, on the second floor of Main Street, all the buildings, in all the windows, he names all the fake LLC companies,
right,
that he created when he bought all the property. And I forget who it was that actually broke it and found out that that Walt Disney actually was the one who owned, all these companies, buying up all the property while, they were trying to figure out why he's buying all the swampland. And didn't he pay like $13 or $15 an acre? Or
it was something real cheap,
crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
So I mean, so if you want to look at Disney as a whole, just because now when you fast forward to 2026, obviously the parks are their biggest money generator, right? And and as a whole in the parks, it's Disney World, and none of the other parks come close. You're talking 2 water parks, 4 theme parks, Disney Springs, 400 restaurants, 27 resorts or 32 resorts. I forget how many. I always forget that number. But that would probably be the biggest thing when Walt Disney decided to buy all that property, because he saw what the potential was in Central Florida.
So it says that he bought 965 acres initially for $23 million. and that was 23,834 an acre. That's what it says. Yep.
I thought it was like way lower than that.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. For the initial acquisition, I'm wrong here. Then that was a ranch he bought for the initial 27,000 acres that he bought.
Like it.
Yeah. He the price average was $182 to less than $200 per acre.
Yeah, there we go.
And in later acquisitions, when they figured it out, then it became $80,000 to even $300,000 an acre.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. They said that the lowest range that he bought was $90 to $107 per acre. That was his lowest range. But
crazy.
Think in terms of today. I mean, that was still big money back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a very, very smart businessman.
He was shrewd for sure, man.
Yep. He knew what he wanted and how he wanted it done, and he didn't stray from it.
And he was willing to take the company to bankruptcy to do it. And I would say their crowning achievement to me was Snow White. I mean,
movie.
Yep. He took and put sound and to a full length animated feature. Mm-hmm. And yes, he did rob a little bit from like Grimm's fairy tales and things like that and adapted it to make it his own. But he was the first person to do that. And the first person to allow people to buy the tickets to go see something like that. And dang, man, I mean, let's be honest here. That was pretty choice. That like back then that was huge, Yep. And here we are, over 100 years later. And the company's still thriving. And I think that with, going back to Josh D'Amaro, I think that when Josh took over, he's looking back. And I think that there's a lot of people that would have taken the company over and only looked forward, but he continues to reference back. Right. And I think that that's going to take him a long way. I think he's going to be there through retirement as long as he doesn't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
And I think as long as he stays grounded, he's going to do all right.
Yeah, I think he's like going back, like I said, the parks are the biggest money generator for Disney, right? And the good thing is that Josh is a parks guy. He's been with the parks for years. You know what I mean? So I think he sees what needs to get done. I think he hears the people, the diehards, the complaints, the things that people don't like, and I think he's going to do everything he can. My initial feeling, anyway, I got obviously no proof to that, but that he's going to do what he can to bring it back to as close as he can to the way it was. You know what I mean? Getting rid of fees, not necessarily making things free that used to be free, but finding different ways to kind of soften it for the average, for the average Disney family.
Yeah, I don't see a reduction in ticket prices, but I do see maybe some magic coming back, right? And I think that that's probably where it's going to get Disney loyalists to continue, to roll. They're going to be fine, and keep buying those. Annual passes and things like that. I think Disney's going to cater a little bit more to the annual pass holder because they know that that's their consistent bread and butter.
Exactly.
And so we'll see how that all shakes out, in the end.
Yeah.
But I think over the next few years, you're going to see a little bit of going back to that golden age, and going back to some of those parks that we used to see.
Yeah, you're going to see perks and spiffs. You're not going to see any price reductions.
No.
They can't do that. You know what I mean? Just because budgets and things like that, and but like free the meal plans. You saw the meal plans that came back for the summer. You know what I
Right.
mean? They offered on a 4-day. They haven't had that in years. Things like that. You're going to start seeing coming back. That's going to soften the blow a little bit. But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I see good things on the horizon. Time will tell. Time will tell what he does and things like that. But I'm optimistic. I'm happy to see the way things are going, and can't wait for the future.
Yep.
Over there. So
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, Flower and Garden Festival's going on this week. This month and next month. So I'm pretty excited about that. Actually goes all the way through June, to the first week of June. Probably that's one of the festivals I really like and really enjoy because of the topiaries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that they make those different topiaries and what they can actually create with real flowers and real plants, is astonishing. It's crazy. So pretty excited about that. I'm going there with my family this week, so that ought to be interesting. We have in the past not taking a spring break trip. And so so this is the first of a spring break trip. So we're going to see how that works out. And we're kind of doing a little something wild. We're driving down there. We wait out the odds of the flying, the flying deal.
Mm-hmm.
And TSA's having their problems right now. And we thought driving's going to probably be our best bet. So we're going to drive, which is pretty crazy. But
yeah, you save a boatload of money, a little bit of a headache, but you save a ton of money that way.
Yeah. So anyway, so back, recap to what we were talking about at the beginning. Florida lost, man.
Yeah, I know.
They lost 72-73 against Iowa. So the Hawkeyes are going on, man, but the Florida Gators are gone down, which is crazy. That's the awesome part of March Madness, right? Is it comes to March sadness for a lot of these teams because teams that, man, you're like, oh yeah, they're in, they're gonna make it, and then boom. They just get shut down on a whim, because they think that they can win. I see a lot of this because it looks like they act like they go in there and they're like the first half of the game they're like screwing around, right? And because they think that they can beat that team or whatever, and then it catches up to them, and that's how teams like High Point win, and Prairie View win, and so. Yep. It's pretty cool, That's the fun part is about March Madness is that of the madness, Yep. And I'm going for Texas. We'll see how that works out. I don't know that they're going to go all the way, but we'll see how it works.
Yep.
What about you? What team are you going to go for now that Florida's gone? You said something about maybe Duke or something, maybe.
Yeah, I think Duke's going to go pretty far. I've always been a little bit of a Duke fan.
Yeah. Do you like Coach K? Is that why you liked him? You liked him that era, or
no?
Or
even way back, Christian Laettner was a big fan when he was in college.
Christian Laettner
going back, and I always kind of liked Duke. Yeah, Coach K was always a good. Back in there, the mid '90s. That's when UMass was a powerhouse. I used to go to a lot of those games.
Do you like UConn at all?
I used to like UConn. Yep. Coach Calhoun.
Yeah, I like UConn's women's team, man.
Yeah, they've always had a strong program.
Dude,
on both
their
sides.
team is their team's lights out, man.
You know.
Always. You know, I like in women's basketball, we like watching LSU play.
Yeah.
We like Kim Mulkey. she's a little spitfire, you know. We like seeing what South Carolina's going to do, you know, things like that. So, we're, you know, of course we're Indiana fans as far as women's basketball, but at the same time, we like LSU pretty hardcore. So, you know, we'll see how it all works out, you know, but, the women, I always think that the women's tournament sometimes is more exciting than the men's.
Yeah, there are certain games that are good. You know what I mean? Some of the guys' games get, you know, blown out here early.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
yeah. Well, we'll see. You
Yeah,
know,
we'll see
we'll
what
have an
happens.
update. We'll have an update next week.
Now, do you put any money or bet on any of the games, like brackets or anything like that?
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, I do brackets, and our work, we do a player challenge.
Okay.
And so it's, we draft 15 players.
Yeah.
And it goes by rounds, and those players drop off, of course, you know, because as their teams lose, you know, so you know, by the end we get down to a pretty low amount of players. So, I think the other night, you know, in round one, we had like 178 points, you know, combined, because it's by player points.
Yep.
So anyway, it's a fun time.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's about all I do as far as sports betting. I'm not a big sports betting person. You know, some people, man, they put their lives on the line for that stuff, but
Oh yeah,
not me, man.
I don't do it. I do like $2 or $3 bets. Make it interesting. Make it fun to watch.
Oh yeah, I
light.
get that.
You know,
I get that.
Put $2 or $3 on a couple long shots, and if they hit, you know, you'll hit like $40, $50, something like that, and then I cash out. You know.
Yeah, I do like a lot of pools and, you know, stuff like that, but that's about it. You know, it's fun. It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway, that pretty much wraps this thing up. You know, I mean, we got a little Disney history, got a little March Madness. You know, I didn't eat any pizza this week. Well, actually, I did. I ate at Noble Romans during the player draft. That was kind of okay. You know, I mean, it just had like a pepperoni, sausage pizza. You know, they're just general. You know, it's mid pizza. It's not that great.
Yeah, we tried a new place that I heard about. It's a little bit of notoriety up here down in Rhode Island, and made the trek down there, and it was a dud. It was a big, big disappointment. Nah, the dough was very, very dry. It was very, you know, not that crispy. I like a crispy crust, but it was like too dry, too hard. It was almost like had no taste to it. It just ruined it. You got to have a good dough. You know, and if you don't have a good dough, then
I like the places that have, like, you know, original ingredients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, fresh ingredients, where, you know, like a place like Noble Romans is chain, right? So that's just why, you know.
Yeah, this guy claims that, you know, that he's got the authentic, you know, Brooklyn style New York pizza. I'm like, all right, give it a shot. Nope.
Nasty.
I've had pizza all over New York City, and this is not like it. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, I won't be going back there.
Sad day, man.
That was about it.
All right, man. Well, let's wrap this thing up, and just, you know, that was a good little podcast. You know, pre trip podcast. I'll be sharing some things, and then next week we're going to go back to our Here, There, or Nowhere series, and I'll give you a little preview. That's going to be with Epcot, so that should be a fun one. We're going to bring Martino back in for that, and so that'll be a good time. And you know, Martino, he's going to start making his rounds around here. You know, he's going to start being a face here and there. You know, so we're thankful for that. We like Martino. He's a good dude. And so, you know, he enjoyed himself, I think. I think he enjoyed those, those 3 back-to-backs. So we're going to get him. We're going to get him in here, pretty consistently. And
it's good to have some new blood once in a while.
Yeah, especially for these challenges we like to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that said, please like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. The only way we can make this thing grow is with you, and so we need you to, join us, keep this movement going, join this Park Hops community, keep it going, man. That's what we need. Yeah. Spread the word on social media, tell your friends about us, that kind of thing. And like, comment, subscribe, like I said, and we enjoy the bad comments too. So anyway, I'm Brandon. That's Chris. We're Pizzas and Park Hops. We'll see you next time.
Have a good week.
All right. Bye-bye.